Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. In this video, just kind of wanna talk about in my opinion, five biggest reasons or the five biggest emotional mistakes that kept me unprofitable for the longest, and that I see other people struggle with, and how you can actually fix them. So, number one, I've got revenge trading. Um, Kind of self-explanatory. You take one loss, you start spiraling. You want to make it back right now. You just keep increasing your size the more you lose, basically just until the account is gone. Now, I could sit here and say just stop, or say you don't want it bad enough. Is what I've heard from a lot of people on social media, but considering I've been in this situation and I can kind of feel or know what it feels like. I know that that's not the trigger. You not wanting it bad enough. That's not why you revenge trade. So there's a few ways to fix it. First one is simply forcing yourself into good habits. Um, what I mean by that is you don't even give yourself the opportunity of revenge trading. What I always tell people to do, or what I would recommend, is just get a Tradecopia subscription. Even if you trade one account, it's $50 a month, and it's saved me more than I can count. I take a stupid loss, take an unlucky loss sometimes. I feel that I want to revenge trade, or have felt that I want to revenge trade. But yeah, doing this won't even allow it. So basically what this is risk management. It's on the left on Tradecopia here. So what you do, or what you can do here, is first of all set your daily profit, which is nice for consistency rules. Or in my case, I've got Lucid, Alphas, and Apex, and they all have different minimum profit for the profit days. So what I do here is I trade my Apex for the winning days. I enter the same position with all of them. Let my losers run to 160, this to 110, my alphas, and then the Apex just to 260. I think you could also do like 200 on the dot and 250 on the dot. I'm pretty sure that you won't get stopped before, but I just do it like this regardless. Then also you can do it for your evals, just 1.5k for 50% consistency. Yeah, so this is what I use it for. Then we've got the daily loss, kind of self-explanatory. Maximum you can lose in a day. Weak profit, don't lose that. Weak loss, also don't use that. Trailing drawdown just shows you where the next drawdown's gonna be. And then this is the actual source. This is why it's so good, the trade limit. So also very self-explanatory. This just limits your trade per day. That doesn't include adding and cutting positions, or kind of taking positions off. This is pure entering a position and fully exiting a position. That counts as one trade. Obviously, this wouldn't really do anything if you couldn't lock it. So if you click this lock right here, it gives you the option to lock these settings in place. Please make sure that you have the correct settings, because once you've locked yourself, obviously you can't unlock it. So what I always do is I go through them one more time before I lock myself. Then I mostly just lock myself for like 5 or 6 hours. Technically, you should just do the entire day. It's up to you, or the entire rest of the day. And yeah, that just automatically forces you into good habits. They also have these locked account settings. This is for Pro Plus. I don't have Pro Plus. I'm not paying 150 to basically have the same stuff. So could also get that, but that's up to you guys. But this is what I recommend. And then, of course, there's the same stuff on Tradeovate as well. Just go to application settings, and then instantly you see risk settings. It's kind of the same stuff, just without the trade limitation, which is what, in my opinion, is the most important. So if you want a free alternative, this is the next best thing. I think I've seen that Project X, so TopStep, has the trade limitations as well. I'm not sure though, but TopStep is ass. You pay way too much for nothing. It's just a old firm. So yeah, kind of, you guys kind of have to decide for that, but I don't like TopStep at all anymore. But yeah, this is what I did to stop revenge trading, stop over trading, obviously. So yeah, so the next mistake, the next kind of emotional feeling that prevents you from becoming profitable is definitely FOMO, the fear of missing out. So especially for me as a limit trader, I basically only enter the market with a limit order. It happens that I get edged, market runs without me, and of course I also get the feeling of wanting to get in or wanting to be in a winning trade. That's just a normal feeling. You want to make money, so you want to be in a winning trade. That's kind of self-explanatory. Unfortunately, I can't really give you guys a genuine setting you can fix this with, or any smart life hack. FOMO is something that a lot of people just deal with, or a lot of people struggle with, till they just reach a breaking point where they genuinely just break mentally and they don't ever do it again because they don't want to be in this state of mind that they were in when they FOMO entered the trade. So the only fix I can provide you guys with is to tell yourself that the market isn't going anywhere. The market won't ever close down. The prop firms won't close down. So why do you need to be in this trade right now? Especially once you get the fear of missing out, your entry is always going to be a lot worse. Because you only get this fear of missing out because you've already missed your move. You have already missed your entry. That's why it's called fear of missing out. So if price wouldn't be in a state right now where you would want to be in that trade, price wouldn't have moved enough for you guys to want to be in that trade, if that makes sense. Price most of the time moves in trends. It has retraces, so just wait and don't be silly and try to force a trade. And even if you don't get an entry, there's always a next day. Which leads me to my next point, is that you need to always trade for the next day. That simply means before entering a trade, you see what state your accounts would be in the next day if you lost. You need to make sure that your accounts are always ready for the next day, that they can survive this day. You need to tell yourself to not blow the accounts on this day because there's always a next day. The market, as I said, isn't going anywhere, so don't act like it's closing down the next day. So the next issue I've seen, the next issue that I've also experienced myself, is that you trade the P&L, not the market. So what I mean by that is you decide where your take profit's gonna be because of a dollar amount. You don't care about the technical side of things. You just, for example, you're on an eval. The take profit that would actually make sense would be like 1.2k, but then you kind of just force out another 300 for extra profits so you can meet that consistency, so you can get the max amount, and your original 1.2k take profit would have been hit, but then price reverses because obviously you choose your take profits from a technical side of view, not a dollar amount. So a fix for that could be you go to trading in your settings, you go to profit and loss value, change it from money to ticks, same with brackets. What that does is simply, well, kind of self-explanatory, changes your position value to ticks. So just like that. I personally don't really like doing that because I want to see how much I'm gonna make. But if you only trade like minis or maybe 5 micros, some stuff that is easy to kind of calculate, because sometimes you just have to see the dollar amount without trading the dollar amount, if you have consistency rules or whatever. And also, of course, you don't want to see, or you need to see your stop loss because you have a risk management, and you need to see how much you would lose. So what you could do is change the brackets to money, so you can still see how much you risk and how much you would gain. But then in the actual trade, maybe if that helps you, I don't know, you could only see the ticks, or you could enable this to only show you ticks. And then the last thing to trading the P&L, not the market. Obviously, you need to set yourself take profits or even stop losses that make sense. You don't dictate your stop loss or your profit by the money, but you dictate the position your take profit and the stop loss should be before the trade, before entering, and then you choose what size to match your risk management. That's also why I think fix take profit or fix risk to rewards don't make sense at all. Sometimes you need a bigger stop, and then the first big POI, the first POI it could reverse on, or very well reverse on, maybe only allows you to go for a 1 to 4. Then go for a 1 to 4 and not go for a 1 to 6 just because you have a fixed take profit. That's not even trading the P&L. That's just being an idiot. So just decide. Maybe it's a bit different on all time highs. If you're genuinely in the long, at the highest price in time, there is no target. You could just go for whatever you want to go for there. But for the rest, you need to choose POIs for your risk to reward and not choose a risk to reward. And that may very well mean that sometimes that has happened to me as well. Normally or usually, my risk to reward is between 1 to 4 and 1 to 6. Sometimes I go for more because it just makes sense in my head. And if it makes sense to you, that is the most important thing. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. As long as it makes sense to you and as long as it fits your strategy, go for it. Even if you go for a 1 to 10, if that's the first POI you see that you think price will reverse on, go for it. Of course, you can't always do that. You can't get greedy with it. But in my opinion, you should increase or decrease your risk to reward by what makes sense to you. So number 4 on my list would be overtrading. To really understand how to fix it, I want to go over the things that, in my opinion, trigger overtrading. One of them, as dumb as it sounds, is genuinely just boredom. Maybe you just get bored for Asia Open, you start trading, then maybe you get an unlucky loss, you start trading more, you start revenge trading, and that's just how you blow accounts. One fix for that could be to just keep yourself busy. Maybe if you set yourself a limit for New York AM to trade until 11 AM New York time, you make plans for like 15 minutes later. That could be a fix. Obviously, you can't really make plans every single day. But again, there's a lockout feature, and I'm pretty sure if you don't want to pay for these locked accounts, you could probably edit this to 0 and then just kind of lock it like that so that you don't have to pay for this locked accounts. Another point is what I've experienced a lot, and that is honestly how I've lost the most amount of accounts by far. It's just impatience. What I mean by that is, for example, you are on your last winning day, or you need one more winning day for a payout. Maybe you lose your first trade. Maybe you have a 2 limit or a 2 trade limit for the day. You lose another trade, and then you just get impatient because you want the money on that day. You, even though you don't need it, you just want it on that day. So you start trading more, you start increasing size, blah blah blah, and that's also just how you blow accounts. The next thing is that you just might not have a proper set of rules. I think it's gotten very, very common that you set yourself rules. So I don't think this applies to a lot of people, but you need rules. In a market or in a business with unlimited opportunities like trading, there is literally money to be made every single second of the day. You need to set yourself rules, because if there is no rules, there just is no limitations to yourself. And most of the time that means there is no limitations to losing money. So if you don't have a proper set of rules, what I recommend is 1 winning day off, 2 trades max. And even if these 2 trades are break evens, you just stop trading, you just hop off for the day. Because again, the market isn't going anywhere and you need to trade for the next day. And also, again, the easiest way to avoid this, what I can recommend to everyone, is that you just use Tradecopia or even TradeAvate to at least have the max daily loss limit. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is the fear of losing and also greed. So what I mean by fear of losing is that you always second thought your trades. You always think about, oh, what if this happens? What if this happens? You don't enter winning trades, or you don't enter trades that would have won. And then maybe you get annoyed. Maybe you've missed a good move. Maybe then the FOMO kicks in, and then maybe the revenge trading kicks in. So to kind of put that fear of losing into perspective, or to kind of take your fear of losing, everyone blows accounts. This is probably not news to you, or that isn't anything new. Even the most profitable traders, even if they don't show it, they blow accounts every now and then. Even the biggest course sellers, the so-called best traders, they blow accounts as well. And I don't care what anyone tells me, there is no trader that doesn't blow accounts every now and then. So realistically, what is there to be afraid about? You could lose a $80 funded account or eval, while being able, or sometimes being able, to request more than $1,000, sometimes up to $2,000 per account. Now, that doesn't mean you should get reckless with it and just full pot everything, but you shouldn't think about every single blown funded as proof of you not being able to trade. You shouldn't let the fear dictate your trading. You always need to keep in mind that it's more or less an ROI game, and if you can pull out more money, then it's perfectly fine, even if you blow a few funded. So don't be afraid, but also don't get reckless with it. And then greed, also pretty self-explanatory. You enter a trade, you have a take profit, maybe a PY that you want to see get hit, the first big PY where you think price could reverse on you. That is where your take profit should be. But then, because you want more money, you decide, fuck it, I'm gonna up the take profit. I'm gonna let it run for longer. Your first POI gets hit. You maybe don't even secure profit. It reverses on you like you already analyzed it could. And then instead of making a good amount of money, you sacrifice that for a break even, or maybe a minute win. This is another thing. There is no no proper fix for this. I could give you some inspirational quotes or tell you some about that it's not worth it. You're still gonna do it most likely. So this is another thing that once you've experienced it enough, you just reach a breaking point where you just don't even want to do it anymore.